NMB cable, or non-metallic building cable, can be used in a 4-story hotel. NMB cable is a common type of electrical cable utilized in both commercial and residential buildings. Its construction consists of a non-metallic sheath and copper conductors. This type of cable is suitable for installation in both wet and dry locations, and it can be placed within walls, ceilings, and floors. Article 334.10 of the National Electrical Code, often referred to as the NEC, permits the use of NMB cable in hotels and other commercial buildings. However, there are certain restrictions and limitations regarding its use in these specific applications. Firstly, NMB cable cannot be installed in plenums or other air handling spaces. Secondly, it should not be used in areas where it will be exposed to direct sunlight or excessive heat. Thirdly, NMB cable must be protected from physical damage, typically through the use of conduit or other appropriate protective measures. NEC Article 334 provides comprehensive requirements for the proper installation and use of NMB cable in hotels and other commercial buildings. It's crucial to consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that the cable is installed correctly and in full compliance with the NEC guidelines. The National Electrical Code is accessible online through the National Fire Protection Association's website www.nfpa.org/NEC. Now, let's delve deeper into the specifics of NMB cable and its applications, focusing on aspects relevant to its safe and effective use in a hotel environment. The conductors within NMB cable are typically made of copper, which offers excellent conductivity and is suitable for carrying electrical current. The non-metallic sheath provides insulation and protection to the conductors, preventing short circuits and electrical hazards. Different sizes and configurations of NMB cable are available, each designed for specific capacities and voltage ratings. It's essential to select the appropriate size and type of NMB cable based on the electrical load requirements of the circuits it will serve. When installing NMB cable, it's crucial to follow the NEC guidelines for proper support and securing methods. The cable should be adequately supported to prevent sagging or damage, and it should be secured to structural elements using appropriate fasteners. The spacing between support should comply with the NEC requirements to ensure the cable's long-term reliability. In addition to the general restrictions mentioned earlier, there may be other specific requirements for NMB cable installation in hotels, depending on the local building codes and regulations. These requirements may relate to fire resistance, smoke generation, or other safety considerations. It's important to consult with the local authorities having jurisdiction to ensure full compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. When terminating NMB cable, it's crucial to use appropriate connectors and fittings that are specifically designed for this type of cable. The connectors should be properly tightened to ensure a secure and reliable electrical connection. The insulation of the conductors should be carefully stripped to avoid damaging the copper strands, and the exposed conductors should be properly inserted into the connectors. Grounding is a critical aspect of electrical safety, and NMB cable installations are no exception. The grounding conductor within the NMB cable should be properly connected to the grounding system of the building. This connection helps to provide a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which can trip a circuit breaker or ground fault circuit interrupter, thereby preventing electrical shock hazards. In hotel environments, it's especially important to pay attention to the potential for physical damage to electrical cables. Hotels are often subject to high levels of activity and traffic, which can increase the risk of damage to exposed cables. NMB cable should be routed in areas where it is less likely to be damaged, and it should be protected by conduit or other means when necessary. Periodic inspections of NMB cable installations are recommended to identify any signs of damage or deterioration. Any damaged cables should be promptly repaired or replaced to prevent electrical hazards. It's also important to ensure that all electrical connections are tight and secure, and that there are no signs of overheating or corrosion. When making any modifications or additions to an existing NMB cable installation, it's crucial to follow the NEC guidelines and to consult with a qualified electrician. Adding new circuits or extending existing ones can affect the overall electrical load in the system, and it's important to ensure that the wiring is adequate to handle the increased load. Overloading circuits can lead to overheating, fire hazards, and other safety problems. The National Electrical Code is updated every 3 years, and it's important to stay up to date with the latest changes and revisions. The NEC is a comprehensive set of standards that covers all aspects of electrical installations, and it's essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical systems. In addition to the NEC, there may be other relevant standards and guidelines that apply to NMB cable installations in hotels. These standards may cover topics such as fire alarm systems, emergency lighting, and other safety-related systems. It's important to be familiar with all applicable standards and guidelines to ensure that the electrical installation meets the required safety levels. Training is an important aspect of electrical safety, and it's essential that all electricians and other personnel who work with NMB cable are properly trained in the safe and correct installation practices. Training should cover topics such as cable handling, termination techniques, grounding procedures, and troubleshooting methods. Proper training can help to prevent accidents and ensure that the electrical installation is performed safely and effectively. When working with NMB cable, it's important to always follow safe work practices. This includes wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and eye protection, and using tools that are in good condition. It's also important to energize circuits before working on them, and to verify that the circuits are energized using a reliable testing device. Electrical safety is a shared responsibility, and it's important for everyone to be aware of the potential hazards associated with electricity. By following safe work practices and adhering to the NEC guidelines, it's possible to minimize the risk of electrical accidents and ensure the safety of people and property. Let's now discuss some common misconceptions about NMB cable. One common misconception is that NMB cable can be used in any location regardless of the environmental conditions. While NMB cable is suitable for both wet and dry locations, it's important to note that it should not be exposed to direct sunlight or excessive heat. Prolonged exposure to these conditions can cause the cable's insulation to deteriorate, which can lead to electrical hazards. Another misconception is that NMB cable is inherently fire resistant. While NMB cable does have some degree of fire resistance, it's not designed to withstand prolonged exposure to fire. In areas where fire resistance is a critical concern, it's important to use fire-rated cables or to protect NMB cable with fire-resistant materials. A third misconception is that NMB cable is maintenance-free. While NMB cable is relatively durable, it's not immune to damage or deterioration. Periodic inspections are recommended to identify any signs of damage or corrosion, and any damaged cables should be promptly repaired or replaced. Proper maintenance can help to extend the lifespan of NMB cable and ensure its continued safety and reliability. Now, let's consider some specific examples of how NMB cable might be used in a 4-story hotel. In guest rooms, NMB cable might be used to supply power to lighting fixtures, receptacles, and other electrical devices. The cable would typically be run through the walls and ceilings, and it would be connected to the electrical panel in the room. In hallways and common areas, NMB cable might be used to power lighting fixtures, emergency lighting systems, and other electrical equipment. The cable would typically be run through the ceilings or walls, and it would be connected to the main electrical panel for the building. In the hotel's kitchen and laundry areas, NMB cable might be used to supply power to appliances such as ovens, refrigerators, washing machines, and dryers. These appliances typically require higher voltage and amperage than other electrical devices, so it's important to use the appropriate size and type of NMB cable to ensure safe and reliable operation. In the hotel's mechanical rooms, NMB cable might be used to power equipment such as HVAC systems, pumps, and generators. These systems often require 3-phase power, so it's important to use NMB cable that is rated for 3-phase applications. It's also important to ensure that the cable is properly grounded to prevent electrical hazards. The selection of NMB cable should take into account not only the immediate needs but also future expansion or changes. Oversizing the cable slightly can provide flexibility for adding new circuits or increasing the load on existing circuits without requiring a complete rewiring. This can save time and money in the long run. When planning the electrical layout, it's also important to consider accessibility for future maintenance and repairs. Cables should be routed in areas where they can be easily accessed without requiring extensive demolition or disruption. Access panels or junction boxes can be strategically placed to facilitate future work on the electrical system. Surge protection is another important consideration for hotel electrical systems. Surges can damage sensitive electronic equipment such as computers, televisions, and appliances. Surge protective devices, or SPDs, can be installed at the electrical panel to protect the entire system from surges. Individual SPD can also be installed as specific outlets to protect individual devices. Energy efficiency is becoming increasingly important in hotel design and operation. LED lighting is a more energy-efficient alternative to traditional incandescent or fluorescent lighting. When installing LED lighting, it's important to use an NMB cable that is compatible with LED drivers and dimming systems. Low-voltage wiring is also commonly used in hotels for applications such as telephone systems, data networks, and security systems. Low-voltage wiring typically does not require the same level of protection as high-voltage wiring, but it's still important to follow the manufacturer's recommendations for installation and support. Regular testing and maintenance of the hotel's electrical system is essential for ensuring its continued safety and reliability. Testing should include visual inspections, insulation resistance tests, and ground impedance tests. Any deficiencies should be promptly addressed to prevent electrical hazards. Finally, it's important to remember that electrical work should only be performed by qualified and licensed electricians. Working with electricity can be dangerous, and it's essential to have the knowledge and skills to perform the work safely and correctly. Hiring a qualified electrician can help to ensure that the electrical system is installed and maintained to the highest standards of safety and quality. In summary, an NMB cable can be used in a 4-story hotel, but it's essential to follow the NEC guidelines and to consult with a qualified electrician. Proper installation, grounding, and maintenance are crucial for ensuring the safety and reliability of the electrical system. By paying attention to these details, it's possible to create a safe and comfortable environment for hotel guests and staff. To recap, firstly, NMB cable is permitted for use in hotels according to NEC Article 334.10. Secondly, restrictions apply to using NMB cable in plenums, areas exposed to direct sunlight or excessive heat, and locations where it isn't protected from physical damage. Thirdly, consult the National Electrical Code, available on the NFPA website, and a qualified electrician for proper installation. Fourthly, ensure the correct size and type of NMB cable is selected based on circuit requirements. Fifthly, follow NEC guidelines for cable support and securing methods. Sixthly, adhere to local building codes and regulations regarding fire resistance and safety. Seventhly, use appropriate connectors and fittings designed for NMB cable terminations. Eighthly, properly connect the grounding conductor to the building's grounding system. Ninthly, implement regular inspections to identify damage or deterioration. Tenthly, engage qualified electricians for any modifications or additions to the NMB cable installation. These considerations are paramount for ensuring a safe and compliant electrical system within a hotel environment.